Hi everyone, the case I want to go through today is the missing persons case, Summer Wells. She was only 5 years old when she went missing from her home. I think it was 15th of June 2021. I do have to say before I start that this is for entertainment purposes only and it's my thoughts and opinions. So what I'm getting from the cards are that this was a group involvement. You know, this wasn't one specific person. I don't feel it was her family. I don't feel they had anything to do with her disappearance. I feel as though people might say, oh, you know, they weren't watching her, something like that. I don't feel like the family had anything to do with what's happened to her. I feel as though they're an easy target because they have made mistakes. But regarding who was responsible, so as I get this group, I get two males specifically. One of them's younger, I feel like possibly in his 20s. I'm getting someone who works quite hard, quite intelligent too. And I feel as though he may have had some mental struggles. I also get an older male who's in authority. Now, this man, I feel like Summer would have saw as someone who was wealthy and quite affluent, a bit of a high flyer. I also get that in this case, there is a repeat offender, and the repeat offender is a stranger to Summer. She's never seen this person before. I feel like the younger male, she recognised, may have known or thought she knew, because I don't feel as though she thought she was any danger where this man was concerned. And she's just a child. She doesn't have the same instincts for danger anyone else would. I feel like with this group, there's these two extremes in them. And I feel like there's one, possibly two, who are like, oh yeah, this is over, this is done with. And I feel as though at least one of them is at the other extreme. They're horrified by what's happened. They're carrying it with them. You know, they've got all this guilt, remorse. I do get the feeling that the younger male may have, I feel like he may have passed already and it was intentional. He done it to himself after a confrontation. That's what I keep getting around him. But the two extremes within this group of people. I do also get that there's DNA evidence. So when the law enforcement, the authorities are trying to find out who's done it, there's this DNA evidence around who abducted Summer, who hurt her. Now, regard to what happened on the day, what I keep getting is this. So these perpetrators, this group of people, there's money involved in this. They're watching, but I don't feel as though it's planned to the extent they've picked a date and a time. I feel as though it's planned, but then they happen to see her and the opportunity arises. So first thing I get is that there's a few little half-truths around it. So, and I feel this is in connection to Summer. I feel like when she's said she's going to the basement, she's maybe thought, oh yeah, and I'm just going to go here now or whatever. But I don't feel as though she stayed in the basement. I don't know if she was there for that long at all. I also get that when she left, there could have been maybe a little spat with one of the siblings or whatever, but she left and, you know, her ego was a little bit dented, I'm going to say, but she walked out of that house freely. I feel like when she left, these people were watching direction they saw her, and there's this vehicle there, and that's the vehicle she got into. When the family reported her missing, when there was, you know, all the big stories in the papers and stuff, I keep getting that Summer was still alive then. And I keep getting, it wasn't until after, you know, she was reported missing and after there was a bit of a search, I feel like it was quite a bit later actually, there was something recorded, or there was a little bit of a show, and there's digital evidence of what happened to her. I keep getting that it's a bit of a setup, and I feel as though this is around the family. I feel as though she was, I'm going to say one of the children that was targeted, because I feel as though this group, like I said, there's repeat offenders, but she was one of the children targeted because of her family history, because it's quite easy to blame the family, and obviously I feel as though she could probably move around a bit more freely than other 5-year-olds, and it wouldn't have been noticed as such. Regarding the people, so this young male I'll come on to, when I'm asking how law enforcement could find him, could identify him, what I keep getting is that there was this relationship with a female, and I'm getting that there was some sort of jealousy, possibly coercive behaviour, even go as far as a little bit of stalking going on, and he has this history with that, but I get that that was all covered up, that was all done with and left. Around him I do feel as though it's this younger male that really struggled to deal with what's happened, and I do feel he may have already passed. He has a lot of remorse, and he struggled mentally with it. Regarding the older male, I'm getting someone in authority. So what I get around him is that married with the family, I feel like he's been in prison for substances, possibly dealing drugs. He's been in hospital too. He's had treatment for, I feel like, an accident in a vehicle, and I feel as though his family was there. In terms of finding Summer, I keep getting that something was seen, and this was seen, it was in a wooded area, it was a stranger, so someone who has no idea about Summer, who she is, and at the time, again, Summer was alive. Now this person, this stranger, I feel like they viewed some form of abuse, but they were quite young. I don't feel as though they went forward to the police because this was suspicious activity, but I feel as though they were in this wooded area for other reasons. I feel like they were into substances, to, you know, taking drugs, whatever, but I feel as though that's why they didn't come forward, and that's why they still haven't gone forward. I keep getting around Summer that there's this handover, this trade that takes place, and this is with a stranger. It's someone who doesn't know her, and again I feel as though there's abuse that happens there. In terms of now, I keep getting that originally she was, I'm going to say, cared for. You know, she was fed, watered, and, you know, terrible things. But I feel as though the people who were looking after her, they got a bit, I don't know whether it's bored or edgy or whatever, but they deserted her, and that's when she passed, I feel. I do feel that the people who took her in the vehicle were responsible for that too. In terms of where she is now, I keep getting that there's all these autumn colours everywhere, and I feel like I'm sat outside in either a beer garden or a clubhouse, but I'm sat outside and everyone's having a drink. It's somewhere, it's a happy place, it's somewhere where people would go to celebrate. It could even be in some big family garden, but there's all these celebrations that keep going on there. There's the wooded area. I don't feel as though she's in the woods specifically, but there's these trees and wooded area at the side. So if you were sat on a bench looking out, you'd see it. And there's this building. I do feel as though she's buried, and everything around her is dark. In terms of going forward, I don't feel as though they're going to get the perpetrators in 2025. I don't feel as though they'd find her this year either, which is sad. And I don't feel as though the outcome's good if they do. Apologies. Now, in terms of going forward beyond 25, I do feel as though there's more than one person who's going to be charged with what happened to her. But I do feel that's quite a bit down the line. I keep getting as well that basically what I'm being told is that she had to go. It was to do with evidence, to keeping things secret. And around this young male, I keep getting someone with quite unusual eyes. So there's this female who could identify him. Could be the stranger who saw something in the woods. But what I keep getting is, I'm going to say multicoloured eyes, but it could mean like a hazel colour. But it's quite obvious that they have like blended colours in their eyes, and it's really unusual. And I feel as though that person could identify the younger male. But I do think it'll take time before anyone's brought to justice for this.